Jack Squad, YouTube family and friends. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today? I gotta get my other. Okay, let's see. How's everybody doing today? Oh well. Oh, here we go. Okay, hold on, y'all. Y'all know I'm IT and all the things, right? Okay. Okay, now. All right. All right. All right. How's everybody doing today? I got it together. Okay, got it together. I got several devices that I have to operate by myself, right? Ooh, I can't wait till I get my glasses. Anyway, come on up in here, y'all. Okay. All right. All right. Y'all come on up in here. We got things to discuss. We got things to discuss. I want to give y'all a story time. I want to give y'all a story time. Now, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I want to give y'all a story time. I can't wait to get my glasses. They text me and said one pair of my glasses is ready. I hope it's the pair I really, 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 really like. Hey, T-Pal. What's going on? What's going on? Ever since I went to the eye doctor, I really see how I need glasses. Really. Because lights and stuff bother me. So they said a pair of my glasses was ready. I'm trying to decide if I want to go get it tomorrow. Hey, T-Rex. You love the story times? Yeah. So I want to see, why is it? No. Okay, here we go. All right. Hey, Kay. Um, uh, so I'm trying to realize, see if I want to go get my one pair tomorrow or wait till next week. Because I'm really realizing now that I really do need glasses. I can see, but it's a strain sometimes. It's a strain. And I got my reading glasses, but I don't like the way them look. And I don't like the way they look. And they don't really help now. Not far away. So anyway, y'all, come on in here. Come on in here. And let's get with the story time. Okay, I'm trying to make sure my devices is in sync. All right, get with the story time. See, this is a one-man operation, right? This is a one-man operation, and I'm proud of myself. This is a one-man operation. So listen, y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a story time, right? And I get sometime in the comments, people don't understand narcissism and they don't understand why I talk about it. They don't understand, which a lot of people talk about it. But talking about it is helping somebody else who may not know, like I didn't know, and also it's taking a load off, right? The more I talk about it, the better I feel, right? So I want to give you guys, take you to the beginning, which I've told this story, but I want to take you guys to the beginning of how I met my narcissist and the frame of mind that I was in and why I thought he was the one. Now, in case you all don't know, I stopped drinking and smoking cigarettes and stuff. It's been like almost 18 years. So at the time when I met him, that's when I met him. I had just stopped. So I was in a new phase in my life, right? And I had some friends, a lot of my friends now, but I had a lot of friends who were in different programs. I don't know if I should say them because they're supposed to be anonymous, anonymous, right? But at any rate, they had a club. There was a club. It was a sober club, right? And so I had went when I was drinking. I had went with my friends because it was fun, right? And all the guys in there drove nice cars. They looked nice. You could tell that these people was doing well in life, right? And they didn't drink and didn't do drugs. I was like, I like this, but I still drank, right? So I would occasionally go, but then I would have to leave because I'm drinking and I'm ready to drink, right? So I'm getting ready to go. But they'd have all different kind of parties and stuff, right? So once I had a conversation, see, this is very important. I had a conversation with God. My life was a little in turmoil. Something very significant had happened to me, and I probably had lost my mind a little bit, right? And I was struggling financially. And I'm not going to tell that whole story because that'll be in my book. But I was struggling financially. So I'm praying and asking God, like, this got to change. What must I do? How do I change this? How do I come up out of this funk? Right? How do I come up out of this funk? And why have you not sent me my partner, my mate, my man? Right? So I was asking that question. Send me my man. Send me my man. Send me my husband. I'm saying all variations of the word, right? And, I'm listening to everybody say, pray for this and pray for that. I'm praying for it all, right? Man, husband, boyfriend, special friend, significant other. I'm using all the terms, right? And one day, God said to me in this conversation, if I do this, what you going to do for me? And I said, Lord, I'm going to stop drinking, drugging, cigarettes. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop that. If you send me my person, I'm going to stop that. So what I did was I stopped. Now, I haven't got the person, but I stopped. And I knew, because I'm a sociable person and like people, and every weekend I was somewhere, and weekends might have started on Wednesday, might have started on Thursday, might have started on Tuesday, right? I was somewhere socializing and drinking, right? But I knew of this sober club because I had been with my friends who were sober. I had knew of it, right? And I remember liking the men that were there. Everybody drove a nice car. Everybody dressed nice. Everybody was putting their money into them as opposed to putting it outside in the drugs and the women, this and that and that and that. They was putting their money on them, right? And hey, Classy Boots. Hey, Nick. And so I said, this is where I want to be, but I was a little hesitant because I wanted to go by myself, right? Which I was accustomed to doing stuff by myself because I know everybody. So I'm hemmed and hawed and pondered for maybe a few weeks, maybe a couple of months. Once I stopped and I said, okay, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. Now, I don't really know that many people. When I went with my friends, it would be somebody I hadn't seen in years. And be like, oh, that's where they been. They don't drink no more. So they ain't outside in them streets. They in some different streets, right? So I pondered, is this what I want to do? Because when you stop doing something, there's a transition. There's a transitional period, right? Where you have to get your mental together. You have to get your mental together. And I wasn't an alcoholic. Wasn't a drug, but I did indulge, right? And that's the way I thought you could have fun. I thought that was the only way you could have fun, was you go out, drink, have fun, talk to with your friends. So I was in a very transitional phase, making sure that I stayed positive, and I wanted to stay on that lane because I stopped, not because I was alcoholic, and then I stopped because I was a diabetic and I knew that wasn't healthy. So that was my reasoning, right? And so I pondered. Then I finally stepped in there by myself, right? I went with my friends a couple years before. I stepped up in there by myself, right? And so now, what I didn't know, what I know now, what I found out after I'd been going a while, everybody knew what is new. I'm thinking I'm blending in, right? Because I'm just sitting there with myself. No, everybody knew that I had never been there, right? It's, because when I went with my friends, I didn't stay long. So they knew I was not regular. Because what I know now is that people that go to sober clubs, they go there all the time. So it's the same people all the time. So when I walk in there, 6 feet tall, I'm thinking I'm blending in when it was a target, right? New girl, right? So I'm sitting there looking cute, waiting on somebody to ask me to dance, just checking out the scenery. And this guy walked up to me. And matter of fact, I might have went with him before, but I wasn't interested in him. Shoot, right? Wasn't interested in him. So the next person that walked up and said something nice to me and danced with me was my ex, right? And it was my ex, and he was well dressed and he was well spoken, and he was very generous. Now the sober club is just like any other bar or club, just there's no liquor. They got pool table, they got a pitcher man, they got another room where you relax, they got a bar with pop and all what they serve, right? And they had, like I said, they had a couple pool tables and the dance floor. People dancing, they dancing, and I'm a dancer, so I want to dance, right? But in my culture, where I'm from, men ask you to dance. You don't necessarily get up and dance. Some people do, but not really, though, right? So when he asked me to dance, we danced, right? Then a slow song came on, and I'm never going to forget this. A slow song came on, and he squeezed me so tight. And I remember telling him, if you keep holding me like this, you're going to have to marry me, right? He was holding me tight, damn near vice grip tight, right? That was the beginning of the narcissistic behavior. It really was, right? So that night, and they sold food. So he bought me food. He was very, he was very gentlemanly. He bought me some food, and they had a raffle. He bought me a whole big row of tickets for the raffle. He would talk to me and then go wherever he was going, do whatever he was doing, and he'd come back. You all right? You good? He was seeing to me. So I like that, right? I like that. He was very gentlemanly, very nice, very gracious. I liked it, right? So when it was time to go, when I was ready to go, I said, would you walk me to my car? He said, sure. Walked me to my car. Now he asked me for a kiss, and I said, no kisses, right? So we exchanged numbers, and he said, well, my phone is dead right now, but I'm gonna call you when I get in the house and we can talk. Fine, right? That was the beginning. Now, mind you, I'm in this transitional phase of not drinking, so I can't smoke a cigarette to calm my nerves. I can't take a drink. I'm not doing any of that stuff that people do to get themselves together, right? It's just me and God, Now, remember, I didn't pray to God about what I wanted, and he said, he gonna do this if I do that. So, okay, I'm thinking about all that. So when I go home, replay the tape. I'm thinking about it, and he called me. He called me, right? It may have been midnight, 1 o'clock. I don't know what time it was, but he called me, and he asked, we were talking. I don't remember how it went, but we did go on a date, like right away. Went on a little lunch date. I don't know if that was our first date. I think our first date, it might have been our first date, the little lunch date. But the second date was we went to see a play. I like plays, and it was Christmas time. And we have a theater in Cleveland called Caramel, and they always have I want to say it's the Black Nativity. I can't remember, but I think so, right? So we go. And while we were there, and I told y'all this before, while we were there, we saw some, I don't know if they were kinfolks or friends to his kinfolk, right? And they was talking about the fish fry or something. And I'm thinking, I want to go to fish fry. Yeah, this might have been our second date, but our first official date, because the first little date we went on was just a little chicken shack, right? So I remember thinking, I want to go to the fish fry, because at this point I'm interested in him. I want to go to the fish fry with the family, right? And I'm sure I said something to that effect. And he said, I don't take people around my family. I don't take women around my family. What? Now, he didn't say it in an offensive way, but it let me know that ain't happening, sis, right? Hey, Angel. That ain't happening, right? So, I was a little disappointed that I can't go to the fish fry, right? But we still talked. We talked all the time. So when people say or wonder, why was you with him? He was a narcissist. He was that. It's not automatic. It's not automatic. There are red flags, but it's not automatic. And with all the love bombing, because now we're in the love bombing phase. With all the love bombing, the gifts, the shopping sprees, the going here and the going there, and we went somewhere all of the time, right? So as a female, and you're emotional, and I'm going through something else that I needed him, right? For emotional support, even though he probably didn't know that, but I did, because I was going through what I was going through. I was going through a lot financially, emotionally, spiritually. So I felt like I was under attack. I was going through a whole lot, and I was trying to stand still and stand firm and go the right way, because it would have been very easy for me to go left, right? But I didn't want to go left. I had been going left all my life. I want to go straight, right? So he was a good distraction from me not doing some shit that I ain't got no business doing. So I enjoyed him. So I was working a little menial job, didn't pay much, and I would every day I was taking care of this lady. Hey T, missed you too. I was taking care of this lady. I was a home health aide, so y'all know they don't pay much. I was taking care of this lady, and every day I would tell her what happened the day before. She would be, when I see her, she'd be excited to hear. She'd be waiting to hear what happened, right? And then I would start leaving early because we had something to do. We had something planned. It was so enjoyable. It was so refreshing, right? And the first 30 days, maybe 60, was absolutely like a whirlwind. When I tell y'all that love bombing is real, it is real. He never said no to me. He really didn't never really say no throughout the relationship. But he started cheating and stuff. But he never told me no. He might say, give me a minute, but he never told me no. Not really, right? And so here you got somebody, they taking you here, they taking you there, we doing things, right? So I was still being able to be sociable and active and not drink. And he didn't drink either. That's another thing. He didn't drink because I met him at the sober club. So he didn't drink. He did smoke cigarettes, but he didn't drink. So that was cool. That wasn't in my face. It was cool, right? We went places, we did things. And then what really got me is shopping. I don't care if it was food. I don't care what it was. If I said I'm going to the store, he would say, how much you need, what you got, what you want, right? I left out a part. And so I was having car problems too. The mechanic that I had until the day I left Cleveland, I met from him, right? He called one of his friends. He was good for calling somebody. He was very resourceful. He didn't do much with his hands and all that, but he would call somebody to come do whatever needed to be done, right? I like that. Even though I like somebody that work with their hands, but he had friends. He called them, what's such and such? What's that guy name to do this? And he okay, all right. Or can you come over here and do this and do that? So that's nice, because in my mind, you like Superman. This is Superman, right? Hey, Lisa Marie, I had never at this point in my life had somebody that could do all things without being agitated or aggravated, right? He could do all things in my mind, right? He was like, ooh, he that nigga, right? Whatever problem I had, he took care of it. So when people say, why was you with him in this? It's, first of all, it's subtle. What they do to you is subtle. But the fact that somebody has, as a single parent, I had one child left. He was still in school. He was in sports. All that stuff costs money. He was getting ready to graduate. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? So I'm not in the best mental health when I meet him. And I definitely wasn't in the best financial state when I met him, right? So here comes somebody taking away all my worries, all my pains. He handsome, and we doing stuff. Shit, I done hit the jackpot, right? That's how I'm thinking in my mind. I have hit the jackpot, right? And it wasn't until maybe, I want to say 60 or 90 days. And I have a 90-day rule about anything in life. Give it 90 days. It's anything in life. Give it 90 days, right? And I think that's why on a job, you're on a 90-day probation, because 90 days is what you need, right? And I remember the 90 days, right? I remember one time we was at his house, because we would go over his house at night. He was very respectful of my son. He would ask my son, can you, because my son was a teenager. He was maybe 15, 14. He was big enough to be at the house by himself. Shit, hell, he probably was fucking. But matter of fact, he was. But he would say, can your mama spend the night with me? I was like, ooh, so he was establishing a rapport with my son, which is very important, right? And so I'm thinking I am in heaven. I am in heaven. I remember one time I was going shopping to get with a coat or something, just shopping with my sister. And he was like, gave me some money, a few hundred. And then he said, then I go shopping, right? And then he called me and said, do you have any money, on any extra money? I'll give you the money back, but I need you to get a hat, the gloves, the scarf. I need you to get everything. Don't just get the coat. He was like my daddy, right? So it's very hard to break away from somebody who has come to rescue you. Literally like your knight in shining armor. Here he come. For me, that's what he was. I had lost my way of living. I was working a menial job. I had stopped drinking, smoking cigarettes. I'm changing my life. I'm moving forward, and I'm trying to be the best Jackie that I can be. And so here he come. I'm thinking he's the completion to the package. God didn't send him to me because I had this conversation with God, right? It wasn't until years later, when I say years later, 10, and I was, a gentleman was interested in me, and he told me, and I said, well, God sent him to me. I thought God sent him to me, and he said, the devil will give you what you want as well. And it stuck me like somebody had stuck me with an arrow, like, damn, never thought about that, right? So I knew I always was in, as long as I was with him after the little baby honeymoon phase, I always felt like I was in spiritual warfare. I always felt that. Even before him, I always felt like I was in spiritual warfare. I kept a Bible in my car. I had several Bibles in my home. I went to church, and then, I always went to church, right? But it was like I was always fighting something invisible, right? Not knowing the devil was right in the house with me. It took me maybe because I was with him for so long. It may have took me 3, 4, 5 years before I realized that he was the problem and he was the devil. It took me a few years to realize that, because in my mind, somebody that's kind and giving, he's giving. He's giving. I've seen him give to everyone, strangers. Like I told y'all, he gave his shirt off of his back to I guess the guy was homeless. I don't know what he was. And I don't know the story that the guy told him, but he literally gave his shirt off of his back, right? and he gave him the shirt and he had on his t-shirt, right? Now, when you see things like this, I've seen him give other homeless guys clothes and shoes and stuff, right? So when you see stuff like this, you thinking it's some good in there. If only I can get to it. It's some good in there, right? So he started showing signs. Yeah, he started showing signs. The first sign he showed me was, and let me get some water. The first sign he showed me, and I should have went on about my business. And it might not be major. I'm gonna ask y'all. So we was having such a good time, and we were at his house, and I remember it just like it was yesterday. And we was getting dressed, and I said, I'm in La La Land, right? And I said, is it any? I don't know if I said any space or any room for somebody else. Something to that effect. It meaning, can somebody interfere with what we got going on right now? Why I asked that, I don't know. And he looked at me. He didn't say yes, but he nodded his head. Right then, I should have cut ties or watched how I was moving or pulled back on my feelings. I didn't. Because he was so generous and kind to me. I didn't want to lose that. So now, not without knowing, the devil already has me because he know what I like. Money and things. I'm material, right? So right then, we either should have had a conversation, and I would have knew that he was unable to have those kind of conversations, or I should have left him alone. I should have left him alone. When he told me, yes, somebody can get in, I should have left him alone, right? Now, there were times through the years, that's most significant to me. That is most significant to me. I'm sure there were other times after that before I really realized, but that was the first one, and it stuck with me, right? because he didn't, if he was cheating and stuff during that first, I don't know, year, I don't remember. Oh, I don't, I didn't pay any attention or something, right? Um, but that was the first side, right? Uh, he was always so attentive to my needs and would do whatever I wanted to do. Like I told y'all before, if I said, hey, I want an elephant, he's going to get that elephant. And it ain't gonna take a long time. It ain't gonna take a long time. He gonna do what he said he gonna do. So you're torn, right, between the person that does everything for you that you ask. And matter of fact, this is another thing. I didn't have to ask for stuff. I didn't. Uh he would say, babe, what's going on with your hair? You need time to get your hair done. What bills is due? Now he had his own place, right? What you need from me? Ain't no groceries in there. Let's go to the grocery store. I didn't have to ask, and that was the first. Now I didn't got, of course, I didn't been involved with men that did things for me, of course. But you have to say, hey, I need this, and I didn't have to ask with him, which I thought was marvelous. I never had to ask. I never had to scheme. I never had to game. He would say, okay, babe, what you need now? What's okay? What we need? And he said, okay, give me till Tuesday, Thursday, whatever the day was, right? He would he would buy tickets to this, and that. It was never like I got to fuss about money. Money was never our problem. Never our problem. It was the behaviors down the line. It was never money. Why did you say? What did I say? I don't remember what I said. I remember what I thought. I don't remember what I said. I really don't. I often ask myself that. I don't remember what I said. I do not remember. I don't even know if I said, huh, or what you mean. I don't remember what I said. And if I didn't say anything, it was out of fear of losing him. I'm going to be real honest with y'all. I had never been, let me tell y'all something. Before him, I had never been in fear of losing a nigga. I could care less. Go ahead on, right? I was in fear at this point of losing him. He was so great to me, and I had been in such a bad space. I was in fear of losing him. I don't really believe I said anything. I really don't. I continue to put my clothes on the way I remember it. Now, this is when he first started me changing my behaviors, because I'm an aggressive individual, right? I'm assertive, I'm aggressive, I'm loud, I'm demanding, I'm all of that, right? I did not really do that with him initially. Why? Because of fear of him going somewhere, right? This is when the me started changing, right? Right then. And then, we might have put our clothes on, because we was putting our clothes on when we were saying this, and it went on about the day, right? But I remember that very vividly, very, very vividly. That was the first time I should have said something, get some clarification, or pull back my emotions, or something should have been done instead of nothing, because I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything. Because for one, I have to process some stuff. A lot of times people say stuff to me, I don't say anything, right? It's just my Pisces nature, I guess, right? I have to process it. And then when I process it and think about it, now I'm angry, or now I'm whatever the emotion is going to be, right? And I hate that about myself. My sister, people say I'm passive aggressive. And maybe I am, because I have to think I'm processing. That's just the way I am. I hate that about myself, but that's what it was, right? And I think that's what happened at that moment. That's what happened at that moment. And life continued, right? I don't remember exactly when the cheating started. And it didn't start with, oh, I think you cheated. It started with let me get the right terms. It started with the sudden detachment. Sudden detachment. That is when everything is fine, everything is lovely, and you disappear. That is the most cruel shit in the world, y'all. You genuinely concerned about somebody, and you thinking, is they dead? Is they in the hospital? What didn't happen to them, right? Where is they? Because let me tell y'all this. He was very he was very, let me see what's the word I want to use. Not, I don't, it could have been loving, but when we lay down, he would hold me tight through the whole night. The whole night, he would hold me tight. The whole night, right? So we were attached in that way, or so I thought, right? Even when we would have little breakups, I would call him, my mistake, and say, "You come over to cuddle with me?" He's like, "Yeah, babe, I'll be over there to cuddle with you." Shit was crazy, y'all. But from the beginning, he would hold me very tight. I would go to sleep in the same position, which I do anyway, but he would hold me tight, so tight, sometimes I would have to just break away from him, right? But he would hold me tight every night. Every night he would hold me tight initially. I don't know when that stopped, but he would hold me tight every night. So in my mind, being the girl that I am, this nigga loved me, right? Seems like he was mentally and emotionally abusive too. He was. Some things he said to you. Seems like he did. He played a lot of head games. But I didn't notice the head games. As slick as I think I am and clever as I think I am, I didn't notice the head games for quite a few years. I did not notice it. And when I did notice it, I was hurt. I was hurt. And once I got through the hurt, like I told you, I told my mama one time, matter of fact, I tell you, he did. Because after the first year, we bought the house. So he started with the mind games shit 7, 8 months in. I know for sure when we was buying that house and getting it, putting it together and all that, he was giving me hell. He was giving me hell. And I didn't understand. So I'm going to say after about 9 months, that's when he really showed his true self, or when I saw it, right? But I remember one time he had quit me for no reason, and it would hurt. And I was crying to my mother, and she said, "You got to get your power back." And that stuck with me. I'm like, power back? I ain't giving my power. What power? How you get it back? I was having all these thoughts in my head, right? So I had never, to tell y'all the truth, this was my first real relationship. Well, no, it wasn't my first. Like my second. The first one was in my 20s. But it was like, other people I was just with them, and then I'm done, right? This was a real relationship as a grown woman, right? Not in my 20s and all that dumb shit. I was a grown woman. This was my first grown relationship, right? I thought that I'm changed. I'm a good person. I'm gonna treat you good. You're gonna treat me good. That's how I was thinking, right? I'm a good girl, right? And it didn't work like that. And when my mother said that to me, like I said, I don't remember what year we were in with that. But when she said that to me, I didn't understand. Power back? He ain't got no damn power. How I get it back? Where is it at? When I got it together in my head, and I can't tell y'all how soon that was, but I did get it together in my head. That's when we're gonna play mind games together. We're gonna do this together. And it probably was, we probably did that for quite a few years, right? This might have been in the middle when he said that shit to me, my mother said that to me. And so we did that. I'm gonna play games with you. When I realized he was playing games, I'm gonna play games with you. Or I'm gonna be getting you back and you don't know, just all kind of bizarre shit, right? Because I'm petty, so I'm gonna do petty shit, right? And he didn't have to know I was getting him back, but I knew that I was getting him back. So that was satisfaction enough for me. But in essence, what that was doing, because now if he the devil, he was making me act devilish. He was taking me out of my character, or out of the lane that I wanted to be in. Remember, I'm going this way. He had me all over there and all over there, right? With the pettiness with him. Quit me. I still say that too. My kids are like, nobody don't say quit no more. Is he the same one that made you cry at some point, sometime? Yeah, he made me cry for sure. He made me cry shit one time. Let me tell y'all this. This was the one and only time in my life. I was in the fetal position. Right? And all of this will be in my book. My last book is going to be all about him. So that means it's a lot. I was in a fetal position, in my bed, in the fetal position. Now, mind you, I had never really been hurt by a man, because I always had a wall up. I was protecting myself, and that comes from my childhood. So, and then when I when I think I fell in love with somebody, that person got on drugs. That's when crack came out. So from that point on until I met him was 20 years. So for 20 years, nobody penetrated the wall of Jackie. No one. No one penetrated the wall of Jackie. No one. So when I got with him, mind you, I'm changing my life. I'm changing my lifestyle. I'm on a different path. I'm really on this right here. And he did, right? So, you know, I'm ready to commit and be with somebody and be serious about it. That's another way how I was with him for so long, because I'm thinking he the one. I know what I asked God for. I know what I thought God gave me. And I know that I'm a good person. I'm a good person. And I'm treating him the way a man should be treated. This man got the best Jackie anybody had ever got up until that point. Now it doesn't make me not want to be great to the next guy I get with, but this man got the best Jackie because I was a don't give a fuck kind of girl. And you do one thing, and I ain't fooling with you. And especially after my son's father, who was so brutal. But for 20 years, I had relationships, little ships, but they wouldn't last long because I was not that invested. If someone quits, you never take them back, because then they know they can. Exactly. They don't see it as love. They see weakness, unfortunately. Yeah, I know that now. Angel. I know that now. If they quit you, they don't want you. They know if you allow them. Listen, when this was over, I thought it was his fault. I blamed him. It's your fault. You cheated, you lied, you cheated, you lied. Then after I sat down and reflected with myself, I don't know if I was in Cleveland or if I had moved to Charlotte, I said, you was at fault too, Jackie, because you allowed that. And you stayed with that shit. So you was at fault too from the time, just like you said, Angel, and he did that lots of times. From the time he said, I quit you, I should have never, ever, ever took him back. But one of the major times I took him back, and this wasn't but a few years in, but the house was bought already, and I told y'all this story. I was like, done. This might have been year 3 or 4. I don't remember. And it might have been earlier than that. Shit, now that I think about it. It may have been year 2 or 3. I was done with it. I'm like, I'm through with this nigga, right? And I meant it. But he kept pursuing me. This is that's got a phase to it. When they want you back, it's a phase for the narcissist. I can't think of it right now. We'll talk about it at a later date. And he kept on. Now, I had him blocked. I think we had blocked at this time. I had him blocked, right? Then he would come over. And this particular time he came over, my son just happened to be home from school. And this was early on because my son been out of college 7 years. So this was still early on. And my son was home from school and he knew the situation. Now, my kids didn't discuss or do nothing or disrespect him ever, right? But my son, I'm upstairs. My son was downstairs. So my son on the way to the door, I said, never mind, I got it. And I'm going to tell y'all the story again because it's very significant to me as to why I kept fucking going. I was in my prayer room. Now, I had a prayer closet and I had a prayer room, right? Before I had the prayer closet, I had the prayer room. I eventually gave that room for like my grandson or somebody come over. I put a futon in there and, I changed that out. But initially, when I first bought my house, matter of fact, this might have been year 1 or 2, child, 2, 3. This wasn't that far on. When I was like, okay, I'm through with this because I ain't getting ready to deal with this. And I was in my prayer room and I was praying to God because I had got some information from one of his sisters or somebody that he wanted to be with me and this and that and that and that and that and that. You know how the family, right? And they inadvertently telling me things, right? And I was having second thoughts. And that was my good mind was like, no. But my soft mind was like, maybe, right? So I took it to God, which I take everything. Let me ask God, should I take him back? And I said, God, if I should have a conversation with him or take him back, whatever the prayer was, give me a sign. Give me a sign. And before I could say amen in Jesus' name, he was knocking at my door. This is why I got with him and stayed. He was knocking at my door. So now I'm thinking this is God trying to show me a lesson because I've been so mean and awful to dudes in my lifetime that he teaching me something. He teaching me patience. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm supposed to be taught a lesson. So when he knocking at my door and my son was already at the door, I told him I got his son because I had just asked God to give me a sign. Here go the sign. He knocking at the door. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so I thought this he it again. God done showed me again. He is the one. Okay, he is the one. So that's why I stayed with him, because every time I had a conversation, until my friend told me years later that the devil give you what you want. So the devil was always interceding and trying to take me back. What I now realize, the devil was trying to take me back to what I used to be. But I was steadfast that I'm never going to be that person again. And I'm working on, at that point, and I still do today, I'm working on being a better Jackie every day, every week, every year, right? So what the devil wanted was for me to get frustrated, for me to get whatever, and go back to that. I wasn't going back to that. I wasn't going back to that. Therefore, I really got into the word. I got into my spirituality even more, even more. But it was still a few years later that I realized he was the devil. Because now I'm trying my best. I'm doing everything to be the best Jackie I could be and be the best woman, to be the best everything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I was doing, right? So it's not like I was stupid, even though maybe I probably was, but it was reasoning behind what I was doing. Nobody ever in my whole life, no man ever in my life had did the things to me, because I didn't allow it, that he did to me, as far as the emotional and probably sometimes verbal abuse, right? We would cuss each other out, all that stupid stuff, right? So it was reasonings behind that. And so when you are spiritual, the devil is working on your spirituality, right? It go deeper than this person. This person is the demon, though. And all the readings, all the research I've did, they all say they're demonic people. But I know that to be true for myself, right? I know that to be true for myself. Unlike other people that I knew were demonic, and like I told you, that guy was in my house and his face instantly turned black. I've seen a couple people that actually looked like it, right? I never saw the look. I never saw the look on him, but I would see the uncomfortableness. I would see that, right, when he was backed into a corner. So, that was my reasoning why. That was my reason why, because I thought I was being spiritually led to be with him, and I was to be taught a lesson on how to treat a man. That's what I thought. That's all I can say about it. Now, do I think that, and I don't want people to think this, I do not think that every man or every person is a narcissist. I do not think that, not at all. I do believe that a lot of folks have narcissistic traits. Now, we all probably got traits of whatever, right? But when you put them all together, the number one thing for me is the no empathy. That is so unhuman. That is so unhuman to not have empathy. That is just like beyond to me. That's like you're not even a human. So you'd have to be the devil. You don't have any empathy. Anything could happen and you don't feel nothing about it. That's the crazy part. So for me, if I see you, like gaslighting, the love bombing, a lot of men love bomb, so it'd be hard to tell. But that no empathy and that sudden detachment, they can just break away from you. Just break away, right? No warning signs, no nothing. Just break away. Just break away. Okay, I'm tired of you right now, right? So when I see stuff, like, I'm gonna tell you what I see, and we're gonna talk about tomorrow. When I see, like, for instance, what's going on with Simon and Portia, right? Because a lot of men, whether we want to admit it or not, get bored of you. You could be the greatest of everything, the biggest booty, biggest titties, prettiest face, longest hair. They tire of you. Certain men tire of you, right? And when I see what's going on with Simon and Portia, I am now beginning to think that he's probably a narcissist, and it's not going to. There's no reconciliation. There's no nothing but get rid of him, go away from him, right? Um, uh, because to me it looks like he has no empathy. He's dating different women all the time, and he's showing it. He's putting it out there, right? Like, damn, cuz, can I heal for a minute before you start putting all that out there and humiliate me? But remember, he did that to the other one, right? So I'm not saying that all men are like that, but a good portion of men are like that. Why is that? I don't know. The scientists, the researchers, the doctors, they don't know why that is, right? I think that for so long, it's in our nature to be submissive. First of all, that's our nature. It's in our nature to be submissive. And if you really tap into your real self, you'll be submissive, right? To the right person. Sometimes to the wrong person. It's like in my case, right? But submissiveness is in our nature. We're women, right? And aggressiveness and whateverness is in a man's nature, right? But at some point, you have to want to change and be a better person. And I say that women, we have allowed men to be who they are and the way they are for generations, that now their behavior is innate. It's innate. It has to be. It has to be. It's just innate. This is just in their DNA. This is what they do. And it's rare to find a real man, a real gentleman, somebody that's not going to cheat on you. Before, when I was real young in my 20s, I was in Never Never Land. Yeah, I know I'm a Pisces, so I'm a dreamer. And I would like to think like, no, all men do not cheat. That's a lie. All men don't cheat. Now that I'm older, I'm not going to say all men cheat, because there's some good men out here. Y'all married to some of them. But what I'm saying is a lot more so than none cheat and lie, because they can get away with it. And we've allowed it. Me, my mama, my grandmama, my great auntie, we done all allowed that for the sake of a lot of different reasons. For the sake of financially, number one. For number two, you want to save face. You don't want the world to see that you fail, or you don't want to let Shirley get your man. All kind of stupid reasons, right? So we have failed, right? We have failed. Now, I don't know if the narrative will ever change. I don't know that, right? I would like to think so. So how does a woman know if a man really likes her or just playing? It seems like you have to. Okay, Angel, that's where I was at. That's where I was at before I met him. He let the wall down. He put the wall down, right? You probably have to ask somebody like K or T that's married in a good, happy relationship. Because I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know. Because I didn't talk to guys who I thought was real. Didn't go nowhere. There's a reason why I have not been in a relationship in over 5 years since I left him. It ain't like I don't talk to dudes and dudes don't talk to me. It's just they're liars. They're cheaters. Like, my eyes is wide open. I don't know how to tell that. I mean, I do. Yes, I don't know how to tell if they're real. I know how to tell when they're not real. I don't know how to tell when they're real. Maybe when I get a real one, I know. I'll sure let y'all know. Because every time I meet somebody, they're a liar. They're a liar. I got a story time I'm going to tell y'all tomorrow about something current right now. I'm going to tell y'all tomorrow at noon, a story time. I'm going to do a little bit more investigating, but my mind is basically made up, right? They're just liars and cheaters. I don't know how you could tell. He's going to have to show you. Like I said, you're going to have to ask somebody that's married. K been with her man a long time. T been with her husband a long time. K been with her husband a long time. I don't know how you can tell. Because I know how to tell when they lying. I don't know how to tell when they good. I'll see when I get a good one. I'll see when I get a good one. I ain't had a good one. If I had him, I'd be with him. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep your guard up, because the moment you let the motherfucker die, and here they come, they'll trample all over it, right? So I don't know. All I know is I am hopeful. I'm keeping hope alive. I am doing that. And I talk to dudes, but they're liars. They're liars. I went on a nice date yesterday. I'll tell y'all all about it tomorrow. And my conclusion to that tomorrow. That's going to be tomorrow's noon. Tomorrow's noon will be a story time about my date yesterday, right? Yeah, that is a good question, because it's hard to tell. Shit, we all up in here single now, trying to figure it out. Now, India, is India in here? India has a good husband, but I'm sure a lot of folks in the YouTube land, y'all drop down in the comments, YouTube land, and tell us how you know when it's real. Tell us how you know when it's real. That's because or he playing. Now, my and to be this okay, still, yeah, they still lie. They still lie. Like, they still lie. You know what I'm saying? It's so discouraging and it ain't even hurtful at this point. I used to get hurt when I meet guys and I'm being my genuine self and they used to hurt my feelings. Now I don't. It don't hurt my feelings. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, when did this shit stop? When does it stop? How old do a nigga gotta be before he just be his real? I'd appreciate if you be like, look here, Jackie. I got a wife. I got a woman at the house. I love her. I don't know if I love her or not, but we together. I ain't going nowhere. I like you too. I just want to have sex with you in some time and, pay a bill or two. Whatever you need to say, I would appreciate that. I ain't gonna fool with you, but I would appreciate that better than the trickery and lying. And then let me tell y'all something. I don't like to be thinking you can play me because that offends me. I'm way too clever for that shit. Right? So when you thinking you playing me and you thinking the lies work on me, it offends me. That offends me more than you got a woman. The fact that you lying and think I believe that bullshit you saying offends me and make me want to square off on you, right? So I don't know how, I can tell when they lying. I can definitely tell that. I don't know how to tell when they're genuine because I ain't met one yet. He would have to show me. And a lot of my friends say, Jesus going to have to bring him to me. He going to have to knock on the door and come on in, right? I don't know. I just know if you got one and he good, keep a hold to him, right? Keep a hold to him. But I don't know. I don't know how to tell. I really don't. Because shit, they so full of game. And it's because that women are so, like, I see things in people, in women, who allow certain actions to go on. And that's the reason why. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why. You allow the actions to go on, so they think everybody like that. And when they come across you and you not like that, shit, they ain't got to deal with you. They can go ahead on and find Susie who will go along with the program. You know what I'm saying? Because most of my close girlfriends, let me run down the line. All of my close girlfriends, except for maybe one. I ain't talked to her in a month, so that situation might be over with. But most all of my close girlfriends, I'm talking about close, my sisters, is are single. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, they ain't even dating. Right? Good girls, about their business, still look good, single. Right? So therefore, it's not me. It's them. It's the men. It ain't us. It's the men. I can honestly say all my girls is on point. All my friends is on point. On point, right? Any man should be glad to have them. They still look good. Even my younger friends, my friends in their 40s. I got friends in their 40s single. Good girls. Take care of their business. Work a job. One of my friends, she done paid her house off. Nice house. She look good. Big giant booty. Cute in the face. Single. Right? One of my friends my young friends just got matter of fact, she started today on a good paying job. Single, right? And matter of fact, she the one told me that she was like, Jesus gonna have to give him to me at this point. Like my friends of all ages, especially my friends in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, they're single. They seem to like when you are mean to them. And yeah. I think my best relationship was right after my divorce. I met a really nice guy, but I wasn't ready. Yep. I really just did a lot of crazy stuff and he kept forgiving me and letting me get away with it. Yeah, because you don't have no business. After that bad relationship, you shouldn't date. You shouldn't do shit. Just sit with yourself and learn you. Right. Now I dated. I became a serial dater because like I told you, I didn't think wasn't nothing wrong with me. Shit, he the one cheated and lied. But after I stopped being a serial dater and sat with myself, especially them 2 years in Charlotte during the pandemic and the 1 year in Atlanta, I reflected a lot and I realized where I went wrong in the whole shit, right? So now when I meet somebody, I cut it off right away. Because we're not getting ready to go prolong this bullshit. We're not. I cut it off because, I don't want no parts of you, sir. And I'm too old to be busting you in the head, going to jail, fighting your sisters. I'm too old for that shit, right? So because I'll lash out. So I'm gonna let that be. I'm gonna let you be, no matter how much I like you. I'm gonna let that be. I'm gonna let that be because you ain't gonna be no good for me. I've been there, done that. And once I've heard people say this, and I believe it to be so, but I've had women in my comments say they've had a couple of narcissists. But most people that I have encountered personally or on social media say once you've had one, you know the signs, you probably won't deal with one again because you know it when you see it, right? And that's why I said I don't want people to think that I'm just narcissist hunting and everybody a narcissist. No, because everybody not. There are some very distinct traits. Yeah, a lot of men lie, a lot of men cheat. That don't make you a narcissist. No, it does not. A lot of men treat you very nice from the beginning because they want you. That don't mean they love bombing, right? But the gaslighting and the sudden detachment and the no empathy, dead giveaways. If you messing with a nigga, he ain't got no empathy. Get away from him. Get away from him. Right? That sudden detachment and that you can even be a gaslighter and not be a narcissist, right? You can just be an agitating motherfucker, right? But that sudden detachment and that no empathy, dead giveaways. Dead giveaways. Dead giveaways. You don't have no empathy with what you've done. Dead giveaway as far as I'm concerned. And I ain't no expert. I'm just an expert at life. That's a dead giveaway for me. So yeah. And you right, Angel. When I was treating dudes any old kind of way, shit, I had plenty. I had a list of them. Next, right? So I want to stay on the right path, right? So when he come, I'm ready and I ain't bitter. A lot of dudes say, "Oh, you bitter." I ain't bitter, nigga. I just ain't fooling with you. I'm better. I ain't bitter. So yeah, tomorrow at noon, I'm gonna have a story time for y'all. Y'all can run it by me because sometimes I can overthink some things, right? So I'm gonna run it by y'all, and y'all give me what y'all say. I'm gonna see how the day play out. I already know in my head. I already know. Because when I date somebody or like somebody, I always pray to God and ask him to reveal. And he usually reveals it in 24, 48 hours. I told y'all that before. So I already know. I could be jumping the gun, but I doubt it. So story time tomorrow, y'all. I'm getting ready to go cook me something to eat before I go to work. You guys be good. Take it easy. Cash at me. Still trying to build up my funds to get my editing done. So you guys, I'll see y'all tonight at 8. Tonight at 8. Okay. So you guys be good and see y'all later.